Alright, this is going to be a quick one, guys, but I'm just going over this at the tail end of the weekend, starting a new week for all. This is a big one. You need to know these things about the game, okay? So hello, one and all. Thanks for coming in, and if you would like to like and subscribe, it would be greatly appreciated. I'm going to start trying to cover the deeper depths of the game for people. That things you may not know. Okay. Affinities. One of the main characteristics that influence champion skills and damage output in battle. The blue is magic, the green is spirit, and the red is force. In the middle we have purple. It is void. Magic is strong over spirit, and spirit is weak versus magic. Spirit is strong versus force, and force is weak versus spirit. Force is strong versus magic, and magic is weak versus force. You get the idea. It's a cyclical cycle in a triangle. Okay? Void has no weakness or strength over any of these, and that makes it neutral in the middle. 4 affinities, each is associated with a color. Magic is blue, spirit's green, force is red, and void is purple. Every single champion in raids is a silent affinity. Most affinities are stronger or weaker and used against others, and that's what I just went over here. I will share in the Discord to make it readily available. Now we're going to go into what all this means. Affinity disadvantage. So this is what a lot of people don't know about the game. They don't learn it. They don't know it. Hey Juice, how you doing? And I'm trying to cover this, like, just give you because if you don't have the spreadsheet, if you don't know these things, it's very, very important to know these things for how bosses work, how interactions work. Hi, Coco. Coco the kitty has come to help and get her pets while I'm talking. So affinity disadvantage. Negative 20% to all damage output. That means your champion, their base stat, whatever is boosting their damage, it is getting chunked by 20%. So you're only doing 80% of your damage. You're like, what that means is it's even more on like a crit roll. It's even more on a boosted damage roll. All your percentages from your auras, all those kind of things, you're losing a lot of damage. Things that won't be affected by that are percentage based damage, but those are very specifically bombs and poisons. Bombs are still affected if they are because the bombs are based on your attack or a main stat like defense or HP. I don't even know off the top of my head if there is a defense based bomber, but they will be affected. Their base damage will be affected, where poisons are based on the enemy max HP, so that is outside of that window. Though you will have weak hits for accuracy landing your poisons, unless it's guaranteed. The next big one is crit rate drop. You will lose 15% chance for crit rate. That means if you're at 100%, you will drop down to 85%, meaning you are not guaranteeing your crits. So for weak affinity, if you have, say, a force champion and you want to make sure that you have to get their crit to 115% to stay at 100% even once they are weakened. Next is the weak hit chance. So on top of your crit rate dropping, a chance of a weak hit, I believe it's 50% or less damage is dealt on a weak hit off the top of my head, but nonetheless it's a massive amount of damage loss. You'll see your 100,000, 200,000 damage numbers on your best champions in endgame. You will see those drop significantly down to like 40 to 60,000 ballpark. Next, neutral affinity. This is void, where void sits 0 strong hit chance, 0 weak hit chance, no penalties or advantages. So they are not getting strong hits either. Next, the affinity advantage, and this is where strong hits come in. An increase to crit rate. So say you have a Michelangelo spirit affinity, or recently Ezio also, and they only are at 85% crit rate. It adds that 15% extra for their damage output. And then the strong hit chance is like an extra roll essentially for them to get their affinity bonus damage multiplier. Now these multipliers, you need a whole spreadsheet to understand how these multipliers work, but essentially it's extra damage. It's a huge chunk of extra damage. It's a massive amount, especially on bosses, which is percentage based multiplier. but overall, affinities matter greatly. The biggest area you're going to see this outside of bosses mattering is in the both Grim Forest and the Cursed City, but also PvP. Number one place you're going to see this, and number one place this is going to matter is PvP. If you're up against a Mezamel, if you're up against Galanthir, if you're up against a Thor being magic affinity, you're going to want to put force affinity against them. Same with a Trunda, same with whatever you're fighting. Your force affinity, you're going to also want to ramp their numbers, like you're going to want to get them in there, or you're going to want to put a void affinity to neutralize the damage bonuses they're getting. That's why when you're in arena, you'll see these huge nukes get dropped out and they hit like a truck. Next, the weak hit. Negative 30% damage. So when a weak hit occurs, it's a chance, 35% chance, weak hit chance, and then a 30% damage reduction total. This is pre-crit damage, so this is a damage reduction to the damage before the crit is rolled. Cannot activate skill-based debuffs is the other giant elephant in the room of things you need to understand. The not being able to activate skill-based debuffs means if like you have hit-based debuff effects that go off from your champion, they will not trigger, or they will not activate. The conditions won't, like, even if conditions are met, they will not go off. Normal hits, no penalties or advantages. That's the same thing with the neutral affinity. Basically, void sits in this middle section here. And lastly, strong hits. Very straightforward, 30% damage. Now this 30% roll is pre-crit damage, so it is a massive chunk. So if you have let's say you have a really high, your strongest champion is at 9,000 attack, this 30% is rolled based on that 9,000 before the crit multiplier percentage is applied. Because these percentages vary, I can't give you a solid number flat out on that, but you need to understand for the rest of the game and going into mid game and end game, these, you need to really understand these, especially if you want to push arena. Yes, arena, you could just like put in a strong champion and go, but if you're going to do live arena specifically, it is highly suggested you get a better grasp of these things. In the next video, I will start going over some sets. I'll go over the main ones that are being used right now, or rather why like 9-piece sets and 6-piece sets are doing so well right now versus their comparative old 4-piece sets and old 2-piece sets. Some 2-piece sets are still used, as well as maybe one 4-piece set right now, but the rest are off the table until they're buffed. The game is addressing this and buffing the 2 sets here. I'll quickly show them, but the 2 sets in here in the Great Hall, or sorry, the Forge, these 2 sets here are about to get buffed. They've been in the game a very long time. There's some of the earlier sets that were added for forging, but they also heavily require materials. They need these forge hammers, and they also like fly through your mage steel at 5 times the rate of you forging perception or resilience. So see how it's 5, these you 50. So they will eat your resources. You make 10 of these, you're using 500, right? Like it's gonna fly through this. Where if you make 10 of these, you're only using 50. So yeah, I'll go over more over forging in the next video. But yeah, I just wanted to make a quick short one on the affinities and going over the ins and outs, the ups and downs. As you can see here, we haven't gotten anything crazy. I'll open a shard just randomly to see if we hit anything. I highly doubt it. Most of our things are on reset. Our counters are on reset. We did get Lamassu finished up, so I'm really excited to pull her and build her. There's a champ training tournament on right now, but it's not one I can win because I invested so heavily in the last champ training event. So I'm kind of on regroup there. We got some more Empress fragments. We're on the road there. We got some of these to turn into mod fragments down the road. The rest of our champions are all sitting in wait. With Rala from Hydra, I'll be doing more of that on Tuesday. And yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. Thank you for dropping in, and I will see you guys tomorrow Anyone has questions or anything, please drop them in the Discord. The link is in the description, and I will link the affinity chart in there as well. And if you have any questions on affinity strength and weakness or anything along those lines, please ask our community members. Like and subscribe, and I appreciate you guys' patience. I know this week was pretty crazy for me. I wasn't on too much, but this coming week I'll be on almost every day. Alright guys, I'll see y'all next time. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good rest of your Sunday, and I